Lovely to see you, Zan. We just wanted to ask you a bit about yourself. Could you just tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, I'm Suzanna Stanbury, and basically I write books and do lots of spoken word events, and just recently I've started going into libraries and trying to encourage and foster a love of reading and writing in children, and it's wonderful engaging them and trying to get them to start off on a world of learning. It's a fantastic thing to do.
That sounds wonderful. And what are the main challenges of writing for children?
I think it helps if you never lose that kind of magical quality that the world has got. And I always used to make up stories in my head when I was a child, and I think if you kind of keep that, and if you walk along a road and imagine the things that could be happening down that dark alleyway, or that car speeding along, what's happening, and just always have stories in your head, I think that really helps for writing, because you've constantly got things burbling away and bursting with excitement.
So what made you begin to write? Was it just to deal with all these urges?
I think it had always been there, and I worked full time for many years, and when I suddenly found myself not working, all the stories were there, and I'd started writing, and I'd written a book literally within a couple of months. It just came flowing out, and I haven't stopped since. And I think the more you write, the better you get.
So what kind of things do you write?
I started off writing children's books because I suppose it was still the child in me wanting to leap out with all those stories. Then I wrote a few adult books, and I tend to write them and just put them all on the dusty shelf and leave them there, and I've never really bothered sending anything away. And then I thought, right, okay, I'll learn how to publish. So I wanted to see actual paperback books, so I taught myself how to publish, and it's really hard. It's like you're running at a brick wall and not getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden you're on the other side of the brick wall. And you think, how did I get here? I better write it down quickly so I can do it again.
So once the books are published, what do you do with them?
Well, I try to promote it a little bit, but I'd rather write than do anything else. And I have sold some of them.
So it's all about the writing for you, really?
It's all about the writing, because I always feel I'm missing something if I'm marketing it and sending it somewhere. And I know I should, but I always think it's the quality of the writing. When I get good enough, people will buy it, is what I hope. And now I'm starting to do more spoken word, and people are listening to what I write. They go off and buy it sometimes.
So when you say spoken word, do you mean events, like literary events that people come
Yes,
to
I'm
hear?
very lucky that I belong to the Bristol Fiction Writers Group, and we share stories and do critiques of each other's work, and we're usually all writing novels and bring chapters in, and it's great being part of such a group because you can learn from others' experiences. And we try to do spoken word events and go out, and we try to do little themes, like we've got one coming up next year called A Hint of Crime, which should be good, so we're all busy writing stories on that. So that kind of thing, really.
That sounds very exciting. And we know that your artwork on the books is done by Liz Ascott. How did that collaboration
yes,
come together?
Liz is another member of the Bristol Fiction Writers Group, and she used to do a lot of commissions years ago, and now she's moving into illustrations, and they're wonderful. What she tends to do is she'll take a copy of the book and look at 3 bits that she particularly likes, and then work on illustrations from those, and then present me with these lovely pictures.
It must be wonderful to see your characters come to life in that
It's
way.
great, because the interpretation that other people get is always exciting, and if somebody reads it and they say, oh, I imagine they look like this, it's great how people's minds work, and when you can see the picture of it, it's fantastic. It's a wonderful experience. It's suddenly somebody's pumped life into it.
And what kind of things have you been writing recently?
I'm always writing short stories. I belong to quite a few online writers groups, and we try and challenge each other each month and have sort of a couple of things that you have to include in your story, and that's always a great thing to do because it keeps it fresh.
Do you like writing from prompts?
I think it's good because it lets you step outside your comfort zone. It makes you try things and try different genre that you wouldn't otherwise attempt. And because you do tend to enter a cosy little world of writing what you like otherwise. And if somebody says write something romantic, which I'm hopeless at writing, I have a go. But it usually ends up being something bizarre and off the wall.
I do remember one of yours in that vein. Could you talk about that one a bit, because it was so fun? The romance piece you did?
I think I wrote it on 2 robots, if I remember rightly, because I started off trying to do a traditional romantic one and it just didn't ring true to me. And I prefer to do something a little bit strange, maybe because I am a little bit strange. And I thoroughly enjoy doing that, and I put that on a website somewhere. Can't remember where now. It's probably on Wattpad or somewhere like that. But
What's Wattpad?
It's just another one of the literary websites out there, and there are so many now. And the good thing, when you do publish books and you put them online, the number of people that download your book, it means the Google bots will then put you into libraries because they look at the stats of how many times people have downloaded your books, and then you suddenly find that you've boom, 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 gone into all these different libraries, which is
That's
great.
Interesting.
Which is really, well, it's good fun to see that. It's very exciting.
So what would you say to someone who is just thinking of starting out trying a bit of creative writing?
Well, if you want to do it, if the words are there, they take over, and you suddenly find that you've lost a day. If the writing's there in your head, you will write. If you want to write, it's just going to be there. I know there are people that make writing a career, and they like doing it because they like interviewing people, they like going and travelling. There are so many different types of writing, but if you're a fiction writer and the stories and all the voices in your head are leaping at you, you just can't stop. You literally can't stop. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. So if somebody's starting out in writing, it will just happen. They'll just find any spare moment they've got, they'll be writing. It's a fabulous thing to do.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's nice to talk to you. Thank you.